Today, I'm gonna speedrun building the wooden house from the Minecraft construction handbook. You know, I had these books in like grade 2, so I thought it best to take a trip down memory lane. A very speedy one at that. You know, it's a speed, quick trip down memory lane. In order to do this speedrun, I had to do a bit of research. The construction handbook itself never actually gives you the full dimensions of the building or the required amount of the materials. So I had to watch some 9-year-old British guy do it before I could gather the required information. What a name. Poo-poo diaringus. After watching the small British child explain to me how to build this house, I rebuilt the entire thing in survival mode so I could know how much of each block I would need. After I figured out how many of each block I would need, I did some big brain maths and made a Google document explaining how many logs I would need to craft each of the wooden items and also the quantity of all of the other items I would need. If you've made it to this point in the video, you've obviously seen how much effort I put into these videos. I plan to do a lot more weird speedruns in the future, so it would help me out a lot if you just subscribe. Just click the red button, it would help me out so much, more than you know. Thank you so much, and back to the video. I wanted to be as true to the books as possible during this speedrun, so I looked up the publication date of the books, and then the Minecraft version that was around for most of that year. The books were published in 2014, and 1.7 was the Minecraft update that was around for most of that year, so that's the version we're going to be doing the speedrun in. So I've just loaded up a Minecraft world in order to just get a kind of feel for what kind of seed we're looking for. I'm thinking something like a forest right beside a plains biome so that we have a wide open place to build the house and a lot of wood right nearby. And this is not exactly that. After a couple more worlds, I found this seed. It was pretty much perfect, other than the fact that it was not surrounded by oak wood and instead by dark oak and birch. But it did bring up the question, am I allowed to use the other types of wood, or do I have to stick with oak? Since I said earlier in the video that I wanted to be as true to the books as possible, I'm gonna stick with oak and look for some more seeds. Right about here I realized I had a bit of a problem, and the problem was a total lack of food. I'm eating rotten flesh cause I got nothing else. When I was thinking about this speedrun, I was thinking about a house, and not what would sustain me while building said house. So if I don't find food quick, I will definitely starve before finishing the speedrun. I left my hidey hole where I was gathering stone to find some food. I found these sheep, but I soon realized that mutton wasn't added until far later than 1.7, so I was out of luck. Eventually I did find some pigs and cows to give me some food, but by then there was too much time wasted, so I had to restart the run. A couple runs after that I found another pretty decent seed, and I decided I would go with this one. I punched down some trees, killed some pigs, and got to work mining some stone. I decided that the optimal strategy in terms of tools would be to make an iron pickaxe, iron axe, and a bucket for saving myself from fall damage. What I did not anticipate is the axe breaking, which it did, multiple times. I needed a lot of axes, like more than I thought, for sure. Soon enough it was nighttime and mobs were spawning. Again, I am stupid, so I did not plan for this whatsoever. I decided maybe I should just go mining during the night, but then I already had all the stone I would need, so that would be kind of pointless. I decided instead to just start building, which in hindsight was probably the worst thing to do at night. That's like right in the middle of all of the mobs. But I couldn't really stay in the forest because of the skeletons, and at the time it looked like the place with the least danger. It wasn't. I was exploded brutally by a creeper, and when I went back to retrieve my things, I was murdered by a horde of zombies. After 2 losses like that, I had no choice but to restart the run. After far too many failed attempts and trash seeds, I finally found one that I could roll with. I started in the ocean, and I swam up to find a pretty barren island with only a few animals. I thought it was going to be another trash run, just a restart, but it was pretty flat, so I decided to keep running and see if I could find some trees. I did eventually, and I decided I would keep going. I punched down my first tree, ran under this weird giant rocky outcropping, and found a ravine, which is perfect. This time I had learned from my past runs, and I'd be making sure to get wool for a bed to skip the night, and more than enough food. Finally, after gathering all of the cobblestone I would need, I graduated from caveman to forest man and started chopping. Around 6 minutes into my wood gathering, I realized it was becoming nighttime, and I had not found any sheep to make a bed yet. I ran around frantically, and fortunately I found some. If I hadn't, I would be very dead, and so would this run. Now that I finally had enough wood, it was time to start building the actual house. Looking back, it was kinda stupid to build it on the very narrowest part of the island, but at the time I was thinking, oh, it's the flattest, I'll build it here. It does hang out over the water, but it's still a house. I mean, come on, it's a speedrun, alright? Don't get too picky. Right about here, I was getting confused because it didn't look like I was going to have enough cobblestone to finish the bottom ring of the house. This was because my Google Docs said to get 3 stacks in 44, but I only got 2 stacks in 44, so I had to actually dig down and get a bit more cobblestone to finish the bottom ring. After I got up the cobblestone walls, it was time to craft all of my wooden blocks. This is an extremely important step because if I misclick and make the wrong block, I could waste tens of minutes, and potentially lose the entire run. I was building up the log pillars when I realized that I had, in fact, made a few too many wooden planks, so I had to go back to the forest to get a few more logs to finish the pillars. I was killing some chickens for food on my way back from getting the logs when a skeleton shot me down to 2 hearts. This was a close one because he could have easily shot me again and killed me, thanks to skeleton stormtrooper aim for that one. I was grabbing some food from my furnace when I realized, houses, they have windows, and windows require glass, which requires sand, which I have none of. This is a problem, so I immediately started digging out my floor. In hindsight, it definitely would have been faster if I had gotten the sand earlier and also made 2 furnaces, because I only made 1. What was I thinking? I don't know. I did make a second one later, but the damage to the time was already done. The really time-consuming part was the fact that I had no coal to smelt my sand with. I had to go all the way back to the ravine to grab some, and this run definitely would have been quicker if I had grabbed the coal I needed in the first place. This whole speedrun was basically just a cycle of lifting unimaginable tons of rock, glass, and wood, and then offending animal rights activists over and over again. I had to go back to the forest multiple times to find more food because I did not have enough. There was not enough food there, not even close. I had to go there like 5 times. That was a giant waste of time. But eventually I did get all of the walls up. Building it was pretty uninteresting, so I'll just show you the finished product. At this point, all the walls are up, and I'm just missing the roof. You can see on the inside that there's blocks everywhere, but as long as the house is built, that's what matters for the speedrun, so I'm not going to bother cleaning it up. It was going pretty smooth, building the roof up until... yeah, big brain move right there. Wasn't too big of a deal though, I just picked up my stuff and continued building the roof. This stupid thing on the back, it got me so confused. I had pictures, but I just couldn't figure out how to do it properly. I had to redo it about 3 times, break all the slabs and place them 1 layer up. It was a whole deal. A definite note for next time would be to better memorize that part of the structure. Finally. With that thing done, the only things left to do were to clean up the outside and then gaze upon my glorious structure. And also place the doors and torches. I may or may not have forgot about that bit. there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I started a survival world and built the entire wooden house from the Minecraft Construction Handbook in just over an hour and 30 minutes. It might not be the best run, but it was definitely fun to make. And if you enjoyed it, then please subscribe. I've always wanted to be a big YouTuber, and I'm just starting out, so it would really help me out a lot. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.